Rick Perry's campaign for Christian in Chief took him to Liberty University today in Lynchburg, Virginia, where he sought votes not by outlining his positions on the governing issues of the day, but by his false and relentlessly public piety.
What I learned as I wrestled with God is that I didn't have to have all the answers, that they would be revealed to me in due time, and that I needed to trust Him. My faith journey is not the story of someone who turned to God because I wanted to. It was because I had nowhere else to turn. Trust that God wouldn't have put you here unless He had a unique plan for your life. He who knows the number of drops in the ocean, He counts the sands in the desert. He knows you by name. You're never alone.
Joining me now, the Last Word's senior religion analyst, Penn Jillette, author of the current New York Times bestseller, God Knows, Signs You May Already Be an Atheist and Other Magical Tales. Penn, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So we've got an awful lot of religion in this political season.
Seems like there's a big
when Rick Perry thought he had nowhere else to turn, didn't want to turn to God, but thought he had nowhere else to turn, and he turned to God, where would you have suggested he turn?
I would suggest always that he turn to people. I mean, I think that there's a certain kind of love of humanity that I'd like to see more in there than just this desperation and this clawing and the going inside himself, which he calls God.
Now, he's not the only Republican candidate who gets rather religious in public discussion. I want you to listen to something Michelle Bachmann said a couple of years ago about, she's actually explaining, you know, a lot of people think she's attractive. I think that's a fair opinion about Michelle Bachmann, which some people say she's hot. She explains here why God thinks she's hot. Let's listen to that.
Today, if you watch TV, a lot of times you'll see young people on TV and they'll say, she's hot. Or they'll say, he's hot. What does God say when He looks at you or when He looks at me? He wants to say, she's hot. He's hot. Because we are hot for Him on the inside. Amen? When you are hot for Jesus Christ, there is nothing that is like that life. He changes the world through hot people.
Are you familiar?
Wait a minute. Are you going because you don't think I have a question?
No.
Because I don't. Okay. I don't have a question.
I do.
Go.
I do. Are you familiar with Poe's Law?
Go.
Poe's Law.
I asked the question.
You can find that on Wikipedia. Poe's Law is that if someone is speaking very strong Christian rhetoric, it is impossible to separate it from satire. You cannot tell if they are kidding. There is no way to tell. If that were on Saturday Night Live with someone saying it, I would not question it for a second. There's no way to tell that from parody. No way at all.
Want to try another Michelle Bachmann bit?
Yeah.
Okay. She's got another thing here about God and natural disasters. Let's listen to that.
I don't know how much God has to do to get the attention of the politicians. We've had an earthquake. We've had a hurricane. He said, are you going to start listening to me here?
Now, why wouldn't an earthquake and a hurricane get the attention of politicians? She's got a point there.
I think it did. I think it did. That seems to me... I can't believe she gets away with that to anybody. That seems so heartless. It's also, her tone of voice is so kind of... She's kind of kidding, right? Is she kind of kidding?
Well, later she said she was kidding.
But kidding is even worse? Isn't kidding worse? Isn't it worse to kind of have
You're
a
the
little...
religion analyst. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't get any of this. So.
If it's a joke that God is communicating, if it's a joke about God communicating with people through earthquakes and hurricanes, that's a joke I don't think I would try to get away with in public.
How did we get to this point? This discussion, Reagan didn't talk this way.
Right. I think it's desperation. The number of non-religious people in this country is growing at unbelievable unbelievable rates. It has at least quadrupled in the past 10 years.
So you saying it's your fault? You are scaring Michelle Bachmann into talking that way?
There's no doubt about it. The earthquake did hit exactly when my book went on sale. Precisely when people were ordering it on Amazon, that's when the earthquake hit. And there's exactly me joking about a disaster what I just accused Michelle Bachmann of, isn't it?
There's just no difference between the two of you.
No way at all.
Penn Jillette, the book is God No. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Penn.
Thank you.